You know, I heard that someone started flying a plane with a banner that said, this is Trump country. It sure don't look like it today. I don't think this is Trump country. I think this is our country.
She's good. Since Donald Trump returned to the Oval Office, voters in this country who did not think this was a particularly good idea have been looking for the fire in the belly from the opposition, from the pro-democracy coalition and from Democrats. It is indisputable that the people leading the opposition in this country right now is, one, that woman you just saw, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and her Senate counterpart, Bernie Sanders. They have been barnstorming the country on their fighting oligarchy tour, hitting many red states in the process. Last night, they were in Folsom, California. They spoke to a crowd of over 30,000 people. Now, just to put that in context, the population of Folsom is 80,000 people. It's a smallish town outside of Sacramento, California. Senator Bernie Sanders is currently speaking to a capacity crowd of 7,500 attendees, with another 1,500 attendees part of an overflow area outside, according to Sanders' communications director. This past Sunday, the group brought out 20,000 people in Salt Lake City, Utah. The following day, in Nampa, Idaho, more than 12,000 people showed up. And as the duo go into deep red Republican states and congressional districts, they are reminding the voters there, who are not their constituents, that they are the ones talking to voters, not their own elected representatives. Here's Bernie Sanders calling out California Republican David Vallado at a separate rally yesterday in Bakersfield, California.
I come from the state of Vermont, and I'm here in Bakersfield. Alexandria comes from New York, and she is here in Bakersfield. Now, Mr. Congressman, you live in this district. Why don't you show up at a town meeting like this?
It's a perfectly good question. Why don't you? Now, there are some elected Republicans who are having town hall events, none of them that big. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who asked attendees to present their IDs in order to prove they live in her district. Security spent much of the event removing anybody who protested or spoke out, even tasing two attendees. Joining our coverage is chief political columnist, host of the InPolitic podcast for Puck, MSNBC national affairs analyst John Heilman. Joins our merry gang. David and Mara are still here. John Heilman, what do you think of the AOC Bernie tour?
Well, first of all, I think tequila and Quaalude sounds pretty good. Is that what's on the menu? Is that what's on the menu today?
This is a great line. It was on the menu in the I kept you separate from the Quaaludes conversation on purpose. It's over. We have taken a break, and we are now back with Bernie and AOC.
Tequila and Quaaludes are never over for me, Nicole. Never got out of fashion. What do I think? I think it's I followed Bernie Sanders around on the campaign trail with the circus in 2015 and 2016, and I have charted and tracked his progress ever since. And it's the reality that part of the thing that makes Bernie Sanders so compelling to a lot of people is that he has been so consistent throughout that entire time. The man has a consistent set of core beliefs. He has stuck to them. He speaks too long. He's not a conventional politician. He's, now an 83-year-old man who has that Larry David kind of yelling at you and lecturing to you kind of mode, which people love because of the authenticity of it. And I think he's found in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez a perfect generational inheritor, someone who has a very unique and very authentic seeming, feeling, being way of communicating on the campaign trail. The fact that they are doing what they're doing it now, and they have the national platform, they have the national profile. There are a lot of Democrats who are out trying to do the same work, and I don't want to forget that there are congressmen and senators all over the place. But these two, because of the kind of following they have combined, means that they can go to Folsom and Bakersfield and Salt Lake City and turn out these really large crowds of people who are desperate to hear this kind of message, and the message that they are honing in on right now, which is to tie together the story of Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the stories of a lot of other people who are being disappeared, put in detention centers for nothing but exercising their free speech rights. That is resonating like crazy right now. I think not just with the Democratic base, but with a lot of Americans who are starting to get nervous about the prospect that they could be next.
I mean, Derek, the other piece that they lay over isn't just the economic anxiety and the things that you and your co-author write about, but it is the corruption. And that seems to have deep resonance across party lines.
Yeah, I think it's really important to point out not just the people who are showing up to these Sanders AOC meetings, but also the fact that they're showing up and that other Democrats are trying to show up. And you juxtapose that to a theory of politics that was in sway between 2020 and 2024 when Joe Biden was president. And he wasn't going out to talk to people, and he wasn't interested in appearing in the Super Bowl interviews that would have garnered, 40, 50 million views. There was this period, I think, when Democrats were sort of hiding behind the curtain and hoping that no one would ask them tough questions. It's been really inspiring, I think, to see how many people are embracing the opposite of that message. Not only do you have Bernie and AOC going to city after city, small and big around the country, you have Cory Booker talking for 25 hours. You've got Pete Buttigieg on a speaking tour and podcast. So whether you're like watching TV, watching C-SPAN, you're living in Central Coast, California, you're listening to podcasts, you're seeing Democrats turn up over and over and over again, making the case that rich oligarchs in this country have too much power, that Americans need to care more about income inequality, that this president doesn't care about constitutional order, and he is just running a wrecking ball through the American system. I think, again, what's really inspiring and important here is not just the people who are showing up to these meetings, and they really matter, but the fact that Democrats have so clearly rejected this idea from the last 4 years that the best way to do politics is to kind of hide and slurk back into the background. They're taking authority right now, and I think they're going to be rewarded for it in 2026 and 2028.